Alright, which way? Alright, men, launch your weapons. This is only one Kenobi. Only one. This is a quick video that's going to be a really quick video, I promise. It's going to be a quick look at this Garindan, and also it's a discussion. I'd love to hear your thoughts. What is a priority and what isn't a priority in the vintage collection that's coming up? Now, the reason I've got this Garindan out, or Garindan, is because I spoke to a mate of mine called Andy, who I met via eBay one way or another, via trading. Now we are friends on Facebook. And he said in a quick message to me that he gave me a little list of figures he'd love to see in the vintage collection, and Garindan was one of them. What a great idea. Totally agree with that, Andy. Amazing idea. This is a figure I got loose on eBay a while ago. Not a bad figure at all. That I can see that getting repacked. It'd be brilliant. Then he went on with his list and he said he wanted to see a Biker Scout and IG-88, of which I didn't really agree with that, in all honesty, and I'll tell you why. Because I have on my wall here a mix of vintage collection, VOTC, Vintage Saga, VSC you could call that, and here I have a Biker Scout, and I tell you, I've seen these on eBay go for next to, well, can't say next to nothing because they go for something, but they don't go for silly money. So it's amongst my figures here, and technically that is a Biker Scout. That is a card that has been released since the 80s. This was in the 2000s, 2006 to be precise. So I don't really feel like I need to see this guy again. Also, fellow figure collector James. Hello James, love your channel, you know I do. Check out James's channel, or fellow figure collectors. He also was naming a few figures that he wanted to see come out, and he said, we need to see a Greedo, he said. What about a Tusken Raider? Well, let me show you, James. Look at this. Again, I don't display any VOTC figures or VSC and those horrible clamshells they come in, because they're terrible. I put them in Protect Star cases like all my vintage collection. And here is a Greedo and a Tusken Raider, and I consider them part of modern vintage collecting. So I don't want to see these in the next vintage collection because I feel like I've kind of already got them. But you know, having said that though, if they did release them and there was a different figure inside or something, maybe a variant, then I would buy it, of course. But my point is that I want to see as a priority stuff that we literally haven't seen since the 1980s. So check out this little sprinkling of figures that I have got here. This is just some stuff I chucked, some figures I got off my wall from the display I have outside of custom recards I've done. These are just not vintage 80s figures, but they're kind of like custom made ones. But anyway, figures like this. I did a video on him last. Check that out if you haven't seen it in my vintage wish list. I'd love to see the AT-AT driver, or AT-AT driver. Jawa, haven't seen him since the 80s. Maybe 1985 he might have got a re-release or brought back out as that image with a Return of the Jedi photo logo on it. Things like this, the AT-ST driver, it'd be amazing to see that come back. We haven't seen it since the 1980s. This R2-D2, you know my thoughts on that if you follow my channel. That needs to come out. And also things like Lobot, you know, that would be a great card back and a great figure. He needs an update as a figure anyway. Haven't seen him since the OTC properly, have we? 2004, maybe. Might be wrong on that one. So anyway, there you go. I just wanted to share my thoughts on that. You know, what is a priority, what isn't. At the end of the day, it's all good fun, it's all collecting, but I just think some things should be put on the front of the queue more than others. Now here's another example of something where something is doubled up. With the VOTC, they gave you that 3PO, and then in the vintage collection last time, this was VC06, and it was the same card. It was even on an Empire Strikes Back. Really missed opportunity there, Hasbro. You brought back 3PO again. What you could have done, and you really should have done this, you should have brought him out on a Star Wars chase. So that means you would have had another chance to have a figure, a card back that was true to the First 12 style, what with the Star Wars chase around it. So it doesn't matter, as I say, it's nice to have variants. I like variants. I do have mine side by side, as you can see on the wall. But anyway, the point of this video is, and I don't know if you agree or disagree, or maybe you do or you don't, is what is priority and what isn't. And I just personally feel stuff that we haven't ever seen, no, that's wrong, stuff we haven't ever seen, stuff we haven't seen since the 80s should be front of the queue. I got there in the end. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. This has been Only One Kenobi. Only one. Out.